Director Comey said in his congressional testimony he believed Clinton was truthful in her interview with the FBI, but he said some of her public explanations did not match the facts. So her answer to Wallace flunked the fact-check test. 4 Pinocchios from the Washington Post. Yet, in an interview with KUSA Thursday, she said, quote, "As the FBI said, everything that I have said publicly has been consistent and truthful with what I've told them." Not exactly. Friday, she was asked if she was mischaracterizing what the FBI director said.
I have said during the interview and in many other occasions over the past months that what I told the FBI, which he said was truthful, is consistent with what I have said publicly. So I may have short-circuited it, and for that I will try to clarify, because I think Chris Wallace and I were probably talking past each other because, of course, he could only talk to what I had told the FBI, and I appreciated that.
Help me?
This is
help me?
It's just baffling to me that she is still struggling her way through this. I mean, there are so many ways she could deal with this that are better than the way she has dealt with this. And by has dealt with this, I mean...
I'm sorry. When I said I thought nothing was classified, that's what I believed at the time. The FBI director said otherwise. It was even a bigger mistake than I thought. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. How about that?
But here's the thing, is that I'm not sure that... I still think that in her heart she believes that everything she did was blessed and okay and not really a very big deal. I think that that's what she truly believes, because that's why these, so sort of the only way to understand what her statements have been for months and months, is that she, for over a year now, we're on this story, and she doesn't seem to be able to just sort of lance the boil and just come out and say, truly, in a way, this was a mistake. I am sorry. And what if she just were to say, my sort of alternative universe is she says, you know what, this was a lapse in judgment, but I expect you to judge my judgment over many decisions. And overall, I think I would be a good president, and here's why. But she can't do that.
But it's not a big deal that I think you really sense when you hear her give these impatient answers, right? She really just doesn't think she should have to deal with this. She doesn't understand why everybody else is so concerned with this, and that keeps her from taking it seriously. What you hear from a lot of people close to the Clintons, or their defenders, is, well, they went through all these phony scandals in the 90s, therefore this is another phony scandal. Well, that doesn't follow, right? This is not phony.
Don't run if you don't want to deal with this, don't run for president.
And what's really but she has those battle scars from those past battles that have made her so defensive that she isn't capable of just giving.
And what's really baffling is that they know her biggest vulnerability is untrustworthiness and honesty. I mean, that recent Washington Post poll and CNN poll have her mid-30s in whether or not voters believe she is trustworthy and honest. And when you look at, if you watch that hearing, I was at that hearing, Director Comey was not vindicating her. He was blasting her for her statements over and over again, saying that if she were an employee of the FBI, potentially she could have been disciplined, could have been fired, may have actually put the nation's secrets at risk by potentially hostile actors gaining access to her email server. So it was a really, really difficult testimony in the eyes of the Clinton campaign. But for her to say that it was all good for her, it's shocking.
I mean, what's really surprising here is that you have the Trump campaign sort of realizing that this week was really bad for them, and it obviously demonstrably was. But the Clinton campaign sort of taking maybe some too much comfort in the fact that she's doing so much better in the polls that they still seem to say, look, this isn't that big a deal, you guys are making too much of it. That is a potential real vulnerability for her that she has to get right on.
When you're doing well is the best time to deal with a problem. When you have the space to deal with the problem is the best